It's not to leave the volume. Your old Yasharal, keyboard warrior, Prince of Israel, coming to you live again. Episode 11 of Israelite Inheritance. People like to call it reparations because that's the hijack term used by the heathen nations to say that they deserve the inheritance of Israel. It belongs to them and us, which is partially true. Once you give it to us first, then we'll approve your plans and give you whatever type of budget you need to run your country. But we need to run and build our country first in order for you to make up for the hundreds and hundreds of years of slavery and oppression and apartheid all over the world. So like I normally do, I'm gonna go ahead and advertise this a little bit first. So I want to skip ahead about 3-4 minutes. My fault. You want to skip ahead about 8 minutes. This normally takes about that long. Hey man, y'all heard the news about man King Noble made it to the Alex Jones show. They doggone did a smear campaign on that man. Boy, he is in hella a whole lot of danger, bro. I hope he got his own network. You know what I'm saying? I don't listen to none of his stuff. You know what I'm saying? I only seen one of his videos when they accused him of saying it's okay to rape women, and the video didn't even say no such a thing. So I like to verify things myself. And then you got when I heard a radio show right after Sarnetta debates, where some dumb dude put on the air that No Light used a green screen to make it look like he went to Egypt. And I couldn't do nothing but laugh the whole time. Why would someone that has the money and the motivation and affinity of Egypt use a green screen to act like he went to Egypt? That doesn't make any sense at all. But you know, people just say whatever because polite be lying so much that they just do anything. They'll just say anything to make them look bad, but they be making themselves look bad. You can't be the master magician by using magic and lying all the time. So yeah, Light is a master magician. It's just the problem is with him, since he doesn't know that God is real, he doesn't realize that uh, what he might consider magic in the Bible, which is God's words, is much more powerful than his magic. So you know, I don't even deal with people like that. I had a debate with a doggone what you call them boys, Islamite. He think he's supposed to be Islamic. The topic of the debate was, do radical uh, Muslims control Islam or influence Islam? Of course, the answer was yes, and that's why he backed out of the debate. He couldn't debate that. He knows that's absolutely the truth, and it's a misnomer. I was gonna smack him with radical Muslim is a misnomer, because in order to be a real Muslim, you have to do those terrorist acts and fight the people of the book. Even though the Quran tell them not to do it, but they don't go by the Quran; they go by uh, their teachers who teach them who tell them they need to take over the world through the sword. I mean, you know, that's what's gonna happen regardless. But I'm just saying that's what all the other nations do. They take over the world with the sword, which is monster bombs and all that stuff. But you know, law is what is how wars are waged today. And if it don't work out in the court, then it goes to bombs. It happens every time. But you have to unleash diplomacy first. And I don't think that's a known fact in the Muslim community. So I'll finish here a little bit, and we're gonna get right into what we. And the title of that communication is bear with me a second. I'm freezing up. What in the world? Oh, I got it over here. Title of that communication is The International Financial Institutions, A Call for Change. And this happened in 2010, 111th Congress, second session. So we're going to jump right into it as soon as I put these links out here. Is a lot easier to comprehend whenever you got people going back and forth. You know, they see things in a different way than you do, and the dialogue fosters clarity. But like I said in some of my other videos, I'm very surprised that people are not interested in dealing with this situation, because the whole world leaders are, and we're the future world leaders. So why wouldn't our nation take a high priority to this? It's confusing to me, but I'm going to keep on persevering and endure to the end. This thing for camps to do is revamp their roots, their image. They need to go out on the street in their traditional garb, and they need to have form to their Bible studies. Just have big, gigantic Bible studies, and you know, where you can explain everything in detail and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? In a controlled environment. That way you ain't got to worry about some dumbass dude, you know what I'm saying, calling the police on you or throwing a bottle at you or something like that. That's crazy. Shit, I ain't even do that with IGCJC. I'm not going out there talking to them people like that. They need to come to go on highways and byways. You find you some wannabe students. You know what I'm saying? Give them a little taster at first and be like, you know, their enemy. Ask them little, you know, little questions to see how they feel about things. You know what I'm saying? And then if they appreciate the Bible, then bring them to the class. Clubs can be just as private as you want them to be. You can be very exclusive when you have your own club. You know what I'm saying? Just pick a building and call your organization a club. That's why the Club of Rome is so exclusive and powerful, and does the perfect work for Satan. That some people call some people say that Satan is a obedient agent of the Heavenly Father. I've never heard anything more retarded in my life. I don't care how many magic spells you say, and how many times you repeat the magic spell. You can't make people believe that Satan is a perfect, obedient agent for the Heavenly Father. The Heavenly Father uses Satan whenever he feels like it, because he's Satan's master. But Satan is autonomous. He has the free will to go around and corrupt anyone he chooses. And if that person falls for the corruption, then the Heavenly Father is going to completely ignore that person and allow Satan to rule over him. Satan don't have no place in the kingdom. Satan won't be ruling one thing. Satan is going to be cast into the lake of fire along with his homeboys and all his family. Weirdos on Earth, all half breed angels and humans walking around here. You know what I'm saying? People don't even realize it. But yeah, if you want the link, you just hit my inbox and I'll shoot you the link. You know, it ain't hard. I don't need, you know what I'm saying? I just need people to bounce back and forth ideas and a fresh eye that, you know what I'm saying, that can see things that I can't see. Oh man, what a way to get on Alex Jones show as a complete doggone, they doggone, man, put that man life in jeopardy. And then y'all seen that video with that cowboy in Texas? Somebody gonna kill all the Black Panthers and yeah, what the fuck? How does he imagine that he can beat the Black Panthers? That's ridiculous. That their whole life. Damn, cowboy better sit his ass down somewhere. If he would have done, if he wanted to do something, he should have did it right there. Told him to his face, right in his face, that his daughter likes black men. That's why he's pissed off. He's a Klan's member, one of the leaders of the Klan, and he can't stand the fact that his daughter loves black men because he's racist. He got a mental problem. You know, that ain't none of our concern. If you sat down somewhere, like our grandma used to say, you better sat your ass down somewhere. So he gonna get killed too. But you know, that's gonna do a couple of battles, or you know, around the country. You know what I'm saying? Then the battles are going what? They're gonna make everybody kind of like, oh man, we're getting closer and closer to a race war. Oh shit, I'm scared. I'm scared. But the Bible already told you that was gonna happen. If you pay attention, you wouldn't be afraid, you big dumb person. Stop ignoring the Bible, and you would have known that was gonna happen. Another thing, they what they gonna do is, as soon as this economy takes a big hit, September 13th or 14th, most likely both days, it's gonna take a major hit, and then they're gonna blame that on the Obama administration and blame the Obama administration on Obama. So that's gonna be lingering over his head until July 3rd of next year. Between June 20th and and the end of July, or July 15th, but somewhere in June or July, they're gonna take Obama out. Tell you that now. That's a prediction. The reason I felt confident enough to make that prediction is because I made a prediction that the economy was going to take a hit in September, real hard, and I made that prediction back in January. In December, I said that China and Russia was going to invade in us in September or August. Now, or did I say October? Is it September, August, or October? September, August, October. One of those months. I said. Then in January, I got a little bit more understanding and realized that the economy was going to take a hit in September. Then about 3, 4 months ago, I updated the prediction saying that the economy was going to take a hit on September 13th and 14th. And sure enough, the economy has been taking a hit for a week, about a week and a half now, 2 weeks now. So you got to stay ahead of the what's going on. You know what I'm saying? You got to know. You got to fill yourself with so much information with the Bible as your guide that you can predict the future. It's not like I'm having some type of vision, day vision or dream or something. It's just the Father tells you so much information and tells you how to discern stuff that you can know the future pretty much. Okay, so that's what you need to do. You need to get your Bible out, dust it off, get it out the bottom of your closet, the bottom of your desk, and dust it off. Okay, so we're gonna go right into international financial institutions a call for change. Okay, I read a little bit of this yesterday, but it's so long that I had to dedicate a whole show to it. A report to the Committee on Foreign Relations. Now, the CFR, United States Senate, the CFR, Committee on Foreign Relations, is headed by uh, Rockefeller. So he's a powerful world manipulator and puppet master. So that's what we finna read about a report that was sent to his notice. Okay, this was the 111th Congress, second session, March 10th, 2010. So I may need to find some more up-to-date things so that we can have just as much knowledge as the world leaders, and then figure out how to do things more efficiently and be ahead of the game, and you know what I'm saying, get ourselves established. I mean, I suppose it's on autopilot, but I know that we have to do work. That's just all it is to it. That's just how I look at it. Okay, what does it say? Printed for the use of the Committee on Foreign Relations. It's available on the World Wide Web. Okay, U.S. Government Printing Office. So this is public information. So, you know, anything government is public information. That's why it doesn't scare me at all to go to any of their sites and look up stuff. You know what I'm saying? I didn't look this up, but it was in the communication that of the study that I had found with the three communications of the Twitter conversation Karen Hudez had for the public as a PSA, public service announcement. And there's a little brief history about Wolfgang Struck, how he became beneficiary for Solomon's resources. And then also there's the bilateral mines field agreement that shows, about the gold and all that stuff. Then you got in the Twitter communication has a bunch of links, so it's educational, very educational, and I've been learning a lot. And so, if someone wants to, join the conversation so that we can get clarity faster and begin to write up a proposal. This is the plan, to write a proposal on our established nationhood. We only need a handful of people. Trying to get a committee together of 5 people. Put together a committee. inform the world that Israelites are now a nation. And then once we do that, uh, we'll have bylaws which come straight out of the Bible. We'll have our Constitution in place, which is straight out of the Bible. We'll have our flag agreed upon, and we'll set up elections for next year. So that's the main thing. Then we take that proposal of our governing and plans and present it through the proper channels that we've learned in this series here. So once we submit that, then they will undoubtedly. I mean, just like that's what court is for. You just say something and it's true. You know what I'm saying? So when you say something and it's true, then they're motivated to perform. They are compelled to perform. They have to perform based on what you say. So you have to know how to speak in order to get those things done efficiently. All right. We have here Committee on Foreign Relations, John F. Kerry, Massachusetts Chairman, Christopher J. Dodd, Connecticut, and all these other names of jerk-offs. Of course, they don't put Rockefeller's name on here because he likes to be secretive and just kill people in secret. You know what I'm saying? That's just what they do. He thinks he's all powerful. He thinks he's God, and that's what they do. And they don't do nothing but piss everybody off at the same time while they're imagining that they're the Heavenly Father. So they go to contents, letter of transmittal. That's what I started reading yesterday, and I'm gonna finish reading that, and then we're gonna get into the rest of this. It has an introduction, executive summary, recommendations, discussion. Senator Lugar's ongoing oversight effort. United Nations benefits from involvement. More money for the development banks. The United States in arrears to the development banks. Linkage between corruption and debt. Monitoring and evaluations vary. Need more focus on transparency. Coordination could be improved. Questions around budget support. Focus on low-income countries. Ability to do independent investigations uneven. Case studies, Chile and the Inter-American Development Bank, lessons from the Trans-Santiago, India and the World Bank, the detailed implementation review fallout, the International Monetary Fund in Indonesia, development banks in Kenya, monitoring and procurement challenges, Lebanon manipulation of crises, Lesotho, demonstrating the need to support investigations and prosecutions. The Asian Development Bank's lack of success in the Philippines. The European Bank for Reconstruction and Development overexposure to Russia. Sri Lanka, the need for concerted conflict sensitivity. The Asian Development Bank's inspection panels. Yemen, empowering reform from within. Yeah, Yemen needs to be reformed badly because their whole country is in the United States, making millions of dollars and sending it to Yemen and saving it here in the United States themselves in order to make themselves a part of the war whenever it pops off next year. Well, it's gonna start at the end of this year, but it ain't gonna become national and international until they get rid of Obama in June or July next year. And that's too bad because a lot of people like that man. The Asian Development Bank's inspection panels, okay, Yemen, empowering reform from within, transparency, and the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development. The Inter-American Development Banks need to strengthen financial management. And then the appendices, of course. U.S. engagement, the international financial institutions, International Monetary Fund, World Bank, Inter-American Development Bank. Okay, and some more appendices. We'll get into that in 12, episode 12. Okay, letter of transmittal. United States Senate Committee on Foreign Relations. Dear colleague, the International Monetary Fund, World Bank, African Development Bank, Asian Development Bank, European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, and Inter-American Development Bank for foreign policy tools that allow the United States to leverage the contributions of other countries to promote our national security and humanitarian interests in alleviating poverty. See, you got to underline that. They are supposed to be alleviating poverty. But of course, the races that this monies get to, okay, these monies trickle down economically to the nonprofits everywhere in every city. It's multiple ones in each city, multiple nonprofits in each city. So it gets to them, and then you go in there. Hey, I'm a young black man. You know, I'm 21 years old. I have a 67-page business plan, complete with the location where I'm going to do my business, every single person that I'm going to do business with, to buy the products or to get the services rendered to the customer. I have a 5-year plan in detail, down to the penny. Denied. Why are you being denied when you know you have a vision and know what you want to do? You're being denied because the monies that this monies is trickling down to is blocking you from receiving the money because of the color of your skin and not because of the content of your character. See that? And promoting progress around the world. That's what they're supposed to do. They have failed. They are in default of doing this. So since they know that they're supposed to be doing this, and this is international law, and they know international law, then it's up to us to hold them accountable. But we are too busy watching the football game and running after sluts. Okay, for this reason, the U.S. Congress regularly supports appropriations for subsidized loan and grant programs through the multilateral development banks, and recently provided a loan to the IMF as one of the largest shareholders in these institutions. The United States enjoys an opportunity to influence their policies and programs. We must be cautious about forfeiting our leadership positions at these institutions. Okay, yeah, you got a right to be afraid to forfeit your leadership positions. You know what I'm saying? It's just that you're surrounded by Satanists and people, and that includes all Christians. All Christians are Satanists, and they don't know it because they don't do one law. They hate anything dealing with the law, so they imagine that the law of the United States is perfect until they got slapped in the face recently whenever the gay law became national in all 50 states. They finally woke up and said, "Oh man, maybe this system is corrupt like the prophets have been telling them for 40 years now." Okay. So anyway, 7 years ago, I began an oversight project on the multilateral development banks, focused on ensuring that their financing reached the intended people and projects, which it doesn't, but I'm pretty sure that they concluded that it does because they don't particularly care to that extent. They just, kind of do little light probes, dust off the surface a little bit, and then don't look inside the surface. or underneath the surface. They don't do any type of digging. They just take the reports that the what we call them boys, the nonprofits that are in your community, they have to do reports. So the people come around, these people come around that's supposed to oversee that, read the report and say, oh man, it looks good. And then here's another $10 million. Continue to not give it to black people to start businesses. Make sure you marginalize them as much as possible. Thank you for your cooperation. I chaired 6 Senate Foreign Relations Committee hearings that included reviews of individual projects and policies of the respective development banks. I met with international financial institution leaders, and my staff examined projects in many countries. The attached report provides 50 recommendations for 8 different organizations to improve the accountability, transparency, and effectiveness of the World Bank, the IMF, and the other development banks. See that? See? The, the, these people, their reports are not sufficient enough to detect any type of corruption. So his recommendations, his 50 recommendations were focused on improving those companies' accountability, transparency, and effectiveness to get the monies to the people and projects that it's intended for. Okay. The American people must have confidence that our funds will be managed effectively, efficiently, and transparently. Okay, so I don't know who he's talking about when he says the American people, because I normally assume that they're talking about black people as well. But we tell these people over and over and over again that the nonprofits and things like that do not support our community to start businesses as they should. They take the approach of the affirmative action approach and only give monies to, like, 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 100 black people or 1 out of 1,000 black people that apply. And you know good and well that there are many more intelligent people in the black community than that. I would say 50% of the black community is highly intelligent and can start any business they want. I mean, I'm from what people refer to as the projects, and those men, once they woke up and stopped dealing drugs and stuff like that, they started all types of businesses and got rich because they didn't know how to do it. It's not a hard thing to do. Owning a business is not difficult at all. If somebody in the 1800s and 1700s can own a corner store with dirt roads everywhere and horse-drawn carriages and a second grade education, and they're 50 years old, then what do you think? Man, anybody can own a business today. They just don't want us to own businesses. They don't want us to become a nation. Lincoln, they want us to become a nation. They just don't want it to happen here on our land that they conquered. So Lincoln told the brand new transferred slaves from sharecroppers to the state slaves. He told them to go somewhere where you'll be appreciated, because white people will never accept you and will never appreciate you in this land. So it was like, okay, you know what I'm saying? They was like, well, boss, me's not knows what to do, because I didn't not learn how to read till I was 44 years old. So You know what I mean? So they kept people unintelligent, and then 1 out of 1 million black people became intelligent back in that time because they would just separate themselves from racists and all that other stuff, and hide in the woods and hide on top of a mountain somewhere to make sure they stay far away from white people because they just too crazy. And then they educated themselves, read as many books as they could, and became smart and started inventing things and just you know becoming intelligent and utilizing that intelligence. Okay, given our domestic budget and employment situation, it is all more critical to ensure that our contributions successfully promote United States interests. Okay, so uh, that's an important statement because uh, if you if you attempt to uh, if you attempt to buck up against the United States interests, then now they send in, you know, their goons and blow up Black Wall Street. That's just what they do. So uh, their interest is to be interconnected commercially with everything. Okay, so they want to make money off of everything. So when you start a business, you don't make it blacks only. You allow interdependency with them so that they can buy back and forth, and it's like a local import and export. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be able to do business with them so that they can make money. And I mean, that's not a problem because they have a tiny bit of resources, but at the same time, I'm not really focused on talking about businesses right now. I'm just telling you, you know what I'm saying, because your mind might be in the business mind frame right now. But the focus of this series is to get you to realize that there is an inheritance that's in a trust that was passed down the family line from Abraham down to Isaac down to Jacob and his 12 sons, and also Joseph inherited a huge fortune and passed it on down to his sons Manasseh and Ephraim, and it just went on, kept passing on down the line. All 12 brothers were extremely wealthy, and then they just kept passing it on down the line, passing it on down the line, and they were consolidated in the various treasuries for uh, the kingdom, and the main treasury was the the temple. So you know it has survived to this day and virtually intact because it's so vast that they can't really uh, recruit the manpower to move it effectively. So what they do is they write up magic spells called instruments, financial instruments like bonds and certificates and things like this, and then they say, since we stole your gold, we're going to write these bonds and sell them to people, or write loans based on the gold that we stole from you, and we're going to make money off of it. So have a nice day. But the only nice day that we're going to have is the day of vengeance. When that day comes, it's going to be a nice day. Okay, so we're rejoicing right now until that day comes because we know the future. We know how this story ends, but they don't. So they do everything in their power. They spend their last breath, their last dollar, their last dime, every ounce of energy they have, trying to get out of their judgment. And it's just funny to the prophets. The United States and the G20 are evaluating changes to the relative power countries wield at the international financial institutions while considering requesting billions in additional funds for the multilateral development banks this spring. This report suggests that contributions to the development banks should be a consequence of, not a precursor to, needed reforms, given that financial flows to developing countries are rebounding sharply from their 2009 lows. Yeah, that they were low in 2009 because the economy took a huge hit in 2008 on their fake holiday of the Jewishers uh, near atonement. I think it's called I think the next one is called Boots or something like that. Feast of Boots. Okay, see what else we got here. Uh-oh, freezing up. Okay, 2009 lows. Now, this Senate Foreign Relations Committee report, written by Nilmini Gunaratney Rubin, with significant contributions from Jay Brannigan, Shelley Bressler, Keith Luce, and a whole bunch of other people, synthesizes important recommendations to transform the international financial institutions. I hope it will inform a vital debate about these institutions before we make agreements on how to reallocate leadership power and decide whether to provide them with additional funding. Sincerely, Richard G. Lugar, Ranking Member. The international financial institutions are called for change. This is the introduction to it. Beginning in 2003, Senator Richard Lugar directed his staff on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee to undertake examination of the international financial institutions to determine how they could better serve American interests and more effectively achieve their missions of alleviating poverty, hunger, and disease in poor countries, promoting sustainable development, economic growth, and good governance, and ensuring financial stability. This staff report brings together the results of much of the oversight since that time. Okay, now, as you know, the banksters are not interested in this endeavor. So they are combative to it, and they are proactive in uh, trying to vaccinate all these people that this effort is trying to reach. And vaccination is just another word for murder. Not only do they vaccinate them, but this is why during this current administration of it, uh, uh, abortion was popularized even more than it already was, and Planned Parenthood stock went through the roof, and now they're in every single country that this situation tried to reach. See, the reason they can make it look like they're trying to help and then go into the countries that they're trying to help and murder them is because they only sign on one side of the page. They have to sign on both sides of the page, one right-handed signature, one left-handed signature. And this has to be bonded where you have to sign straight up and down. So this is just talk. This is just rhetoric to make it look like they want to alleviate poverty because they kind of are like the bankers. But the United States has a history of combating the bankers, and even one president was successful in getting rid of the bank altogether, the International Central Bank altogether. And then the bank manipulated the market so much that it destroyed the currency, and the people cried out to please give us the bank back. So that's how they manipulate the countries, is by manipulating the currencies, and that's how they keep their power over everyone. So that little bit of power that they have, let me look it up, because this is what I wanted to do yesterday. That little bit of power that they have, right? World GDP, right? GDP, gross domestic product. Okay. In 2013, according to the CIA's World Factbook, the GWP totaled approximately $87.25 trillion in terms of purchasing power parity, and around $74.31 trillion in nominal terms. Okay, so now what am I saying here? Trillion is after billion. So you got million, billion, trillion. So million, billion, trillion, that's 9 zeros. So that's 310 billion, 74 trillion, 310 billion dollars. This is 87 trillion, 250 billion dollars. Okay, that sounds like a lot to us, which it is a lot. But Solomon's resources make this look like pennies, literally pennies, less than pennies. And this is the entire earth. This is the entire earth. The government, the money that all the governments on earth combined make in a year. And Solomon's resources make this look like less than a penny, much less than a penny. So that's why the Father says the nations are as a drop of a bucket. They are nothing and less than nothing. Because when we come into our inheritance, we're going to be so wealthy. Man, one of us can pay for the entire wealth of the earth, and we're going to allow them to govern themselves. They've been doing it. They've been governing themselves and blowing themselves up and fighting each other. So what we're going to do is double the world's budget. Every single country, we're going to give them double their budget, or we might even triple it, to show them how fair we are to them. Because whenever we come into power, we're not supposed to, after the death of all the dummies that resist our government, the ones left over will be in the outer court, and they're going to be, it's going to be wailing and gnashing of teeth, because they don't know all their leadership ideas are negligent and oppressive. So they do not know how to govern. But when we get into power, we're going to govern righteously and fairly. So they can live all over wherever they're going to live. They can't live in the United States anymore because the Yellowstone National Park is going to blow sky high, and this is going to be a lake of fire. They can't live in Saudi Arabia because that's going to be blown to kibbles and bits. They can't live in Roman Jerusalem because that's going to be dust particles from nuclear weapons. They can't live in Iran. Iran is going to be blown off the face of the map. It's probably going to be a hole in there so deep you ain't going to be able to see nothing. So as we reminisce 20 years from now, 50 years from now, however long it takes for all that stuff to go down, we're going to be flying over these locations and being gasped like, oh man, seeing all the scars on the earth from the bombs and the fire geysers that are going to be coming out of the earth. It's going to be fire geysers this time instead of water geysers. whatever that's called, volcanoes. There's gonna be volcanoes on flat land. That's how that works. All right, back to regular scheduled program. I know I'm talking a lot, but if you were sitting on this program with me, then I wouldn't talk so much. You could talk, son. As detailed in the pages that follow, key conclusions emerge. The international financial institutions, too, often focus on issuing loans rather than on achieving concrete development results within a finite period of time. They should concentrate more clearly on putting themselves out of business by creating stable, self-sustaining economic growth in their client countries. Now, I can't understand what that just said. They should concentrate more clearly on putting themselves out of business okay. The international financial institutions too often focus on issuing loans rather than achieving concrete development results. Right. Within a finite period of time. They should concentrate more clearly on putting themselves out of business by creating stable, self-sustaining economic growth in their client countries. Okay, so the banksters call developing uh, countries through their loans a means to put themselves out of business, which of course, see, their thinking is quite upside down. They just want to hoard all the resources and go globe trotting and have sex all over the world and in remote locations and share it with their buddies and kill as many people as possible with their own hand and slice people's throats open and stab people all in the heart on film and share it with their buddies for 100,000, 500,000, for $500 million per video. That's just the type of things they do. And these wars are video games to them. For the institutions that are currently seeking major capital increases, the administration and the other donor countries of the G20 should be firm in demanding that needed reforms are secured before committing additional funds. And the international financial institutions should redouble their efforts, including increasing resources for internal controls to battle the invidious corruption that has thwarted so many development projects. You see that? This is the executive summary. See that corruption? They recognize there's corruption going on, but they don't understand it. It's 100% racism because any white person you know can go to any bank you know and get a loan for a car, for anything they want. Black people cannot. So just like they improperly decided to liberate the schools and allow black people in school in white schools that had better study materials and better resources to learn, they should also free up the markets, the financial markets. They attempted to do that under Bill Clinton, right? With those soft loans and easy to get loans for houses and cars and stuff like that, right? And then they blamed it on the consumer, which it is partially their fault because they weren't intelligent enough to have low interest, fixed interest loans that they could repay. They elected to use variable interest, fluctuating interest that goes up and down based on the market. You see? And then when the market takes a hit, then your interest rate goes through the roof. And now you can't pay your mortgage. And you get kicked out of your home. So, but that was predatory by the lenders, which was obvious. And it was so obvious that many of the lenders went out of business and got arrested. They were arresting hundreds and hundreds of people, or thousands of people for their predatory lending practices. So I mean, that predatory lending is nothing but 100% racism. They don't want people to own their own homes. They knew by them putting a person into a contract like how they set it up that they would not be able to afford their mortgage after a certain amount of time. They knew that those mortgages were going to default. They're stupid. They wanted it to happen and then put themselves in prison. So they are doing nothing but digging holes for themselves. Okay, this is the executive summary. The international financial institutions, what you call IFIs, have traditionally been an important element of U.S. foreign policy. They support the broad U.S. foreign policy goals of promoting stability and development and ending poverty. They leverage U.S. taxpayer dollars and support a large core of development experts and international economists to supplement the U.S. government's own expertise. They provide fora where the U.S. can cooperate with friends and allies. They are emblems of U.S. economic and development and diplomatic leadership. And owing to the United States' position as the largest or one of the largest donors in each institution, they're able to help influence specific regions and countries in ways that are favorable to U.S. interests. Okay, so yeah, that's a good function of them, but they always hire the gatekeepers who divert the funds only to their buddies, and that's why the economies of the world take hits because they're not developing properly. Because there's always racist people in the way of the development. We're supposed to, every last one of us is supposed to own a flying car by now. Everyone in the United States and everyone in top countries around the world is supposed to own a flying car right now in our driveways. And we're supposed to have all types of technological advances in power. You know what I'm saying? Like how electricity gets to your home and all types of other things. But they continue to block us. But once we come into our rightful inheritance, then we're gonna free up the energy. Okay. But they are also international bureaucracies. See that? So they know that as well. They're also international bureaucracies, answerable to no one government or constituency, yet subject to influence and suasion by many. Oh, suasion. Oh, okay. Influence and suasion by many, including donors, borrowers, and other political actors. See that? So anybody involved in those IFIs influence it negatively to hinder and marginalize certain sectors of the society, the people. So when you marginalize people, you hinder their growth and prosperity, then your countries in that area starts to look like a rundown, impoverished area, and then you get mad when they ask you for some food. Then you go over there and try to kill them or arrest them or something. And then so since they can't depend on you to allocate the funds properly, then they just go create their own funds by hit somebody over the head for their purse or something. Or they might go sell a rock off the street and act like it's a cocaine crack rock. You know what I'm saying? They might just do anything to get money. People gotta eat. But at the same time, if you were filled with the Holy Spirit, the Father would provide for you without you having to do those things. You know what I'm saying? That's the easiest way to get provided for is to pray to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Keep the Heavenly Father's name and the wonderful Son's name in your mouth. You know what I'm saying? Teach others. And then when you're in need, you can go to the Father and request it, and then it's delivered directly to you. No problem. You know what I'm saying? You working for my people, so I work for you. Thanks for helping out my people. Here's the money that you requested for your light bills. You do not have to open your legs to get money for a light bill. You do not have to sell drugs to get money for a light bill. You do not have to rob people and break in people's houses in order to get money to put food on your table. You can go straight to your local food stamp office and you can get money for food. If that's not enough, then you can think of a way to sell candy. You know what I'm saying? Right there in front of your house for your neighborhood. Sell candy, boom. You got you enough money for your food and your lights. Or shoot, I see a guy on Facebook that sells water bottles every day, bottles of water every single day. He makes some days he makes $100. Sometimes he makes $150. Sometimes he makes $50. I mean, getting money is not a problem. You know what I'm saying, on those low levels like that. But what I'm telling you is that we have the opportunity to rest, that we don't have to work so hard. We'll be so wealthy we wouldn't need to work. We just hire anybody we need to have things done, and we just work out all day, and you know what I'm saying, and then go to court and be the judges over the rest of everybody else, and throw people in jail. You know what I'm saying, the doggone throw these Hamites in jail, throw these doggone Asians in jail, these Arabs coming in there. You know what I'm saying? But so many people are obedient to legalities and just the current go with the flow type situations that you're gonna have a hard time putting people in jail anyway, because everybody's already kind of in tune with staying out of jail, trying their best to stay out of jail. So our laws are much more lenient than the rest of these laws out here anyway. Now, the only problem that can arise is the secret societies. So they're going to be one of the main ones that get killed up in this final war that we're about to have. That's going to be sparked by the race war. It's happening worldwide, but they just make it look local. But if you watch the news for every country, you see it's happening everywhere. It's happening down in Brazil. It's happening all over South America. It's happening in Canada. It's happening in every country on earth. Is black and white is being promoted to go ahead and have this war, and then that's going to cause the airplanes to come out. You know what I'm saying? So normal people, black and white people fighting, is not a governmental war. See what I'm saying? So once they see all this happening, then the government is going to get involved and start bombing everything and relocating people to FEMA camps all over the world. Okay, they often operate with little public scrutiny and many times in challenging environments where bureaucratic obstacles, corruption, civil or military strife, and governmental incapacity can harm the success of their work. Most significantly, the two largest and most important IFIs, the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund, they see how look, this guy just said that the most significant are the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund. But we just learned yesterday in yesterday's lesson that the Swiss bank is the most significant and largest and most important international financial institution. That controls every other bank on earth. Okay, were created more than 50 years ago in the aftermath of World War II, when one country, the United States, towered over the rest financially. Global exchange rates were fixed, international financial flows were tiny, trade was burdened with steep tariffs and quotas, private sector investment and lending in developing countries were negligible, and the principle of free market capitalism was not widely accepted. All that has changed, but have the IFIs kept pace? As the world struggles to emerge from the worst economic crisis since World War II, it is an appropriate time to ask whether the IFIs are performing optimally and doing the jobs they should be doing. Does the world really need the IMF, World Bank, African Development Bank, Asian Development Bank, European Bank of Reconstruction and Development, and American Development Bank today? Can they be changed to better address our needs? How should we redesign them? What could the international financial institutions have done to keep the crisis from occurring in the first place? What can they do now to best mitigate the fallout from the crisis? Do they achieve their various missions of promoting stability, fighting poverty, encouraging growth, and promoting democracy? Okay, the answer to most of these questions is no. But one thing that you have to realize is that the bankers don't give one rat's behind about any type of poverty situation. That's why they do what they do. Okay, so it says here, stability, fighting poverty. Okay, can they be changed to better address our needs? Okay, yeah. So their wisdom is not up to par whatsoever. They think oppression is going to uh, allow them to survive, which it does for a time, for their lifetime and stuff like that. But any ancient empires like a Chinese empire or Egyptian empire or something like of this nature, and even the Israelite empire, their mentality and goal is to preserve the empire for as long as possible. So the banking empire that rules every country except for 2 or 3 now that we're currently about to go to war with because they're not on the world banking system. Their goal is to just take over everything, and they think by conquering and oppressing, their empire will stand. But as you found out with Egypt and Assyria and Babylon and Persia and Chinese empires and other Asian empire, Mongolian empire, Khazarian empire, whenever you do these things, whenever you choose to oppress instead of being a servant to the people, whenever you decide to be the master over the people instead of serving the people, then your empire eventually always falls. They can't see that happen. They're too retarded to realize this. But they're just having fun within their lifetime because they don't realize that there's a supreme being that is going to pay them back after they die. So they think that they just die and then they get hit the dirt, like how like a lot of the famous Israelite camps think the same way, and most what do you call them? the black Islam, right? They think the same thing. They think when you die, it's over for you, and nothing else happens. There's no judgment. You just in the dirt. So that does not give anyone any type of incentive. That lie does not give people the incentive to do well during their lifetime. They just figure they just conquer as much as they possibly can during their lifetime, and then once they die, it's over. So who cares? But if people realize that there is an afterlife, and every single person who's ever been born continues to live after they die. There's only two places to live. It's hell, heaven, and hell. They would call it Israel Home Improvement. Okay. They got without them realizing that there's a heaven and hell, they just can do anything they want in this lifetime, and there's no consequences. So I keep trying to tell these people, stop telling people that there's no heaven and hell, because you for one thing, you're lying, and then for two, you're not giving people the incentive to do well during their lifetime. Then their lifetime is just, you might as well just say, I just want to survive in this lifetime. Then once I die, nothing will happen. I can do as much evil as I want to during this lifetime, and then when I die, it's over. That's what you're telling people when you say there's no heaven or hell. You know what I'm saying? Heaven and hell is also the conditions that we're in today. We're in hell, and the rulers are in heaven. So once we become rulers, we'll be godly by accepting the power that a carnal God has, which is vast wealth. That's where power comes from on this plane, is the resources of the earth, mining the earth. And that's what happened. That's what our family did for many years, and they collected a vast fortune. So they want to get it to us by way of Floro E. Garcia, Reverend Dr. Floro E. Garcia. He's the man in control of it, and it's been hijacked by Wolfgang Struck and Karen Hudez. I've been talking to Karen Hudez quite a few times, and just today, she professionally cussed me out because I sent her a tweet that said, "How does one contact Floro E. Garcia or this other lady that's working with Wolfgang Struck named Jeanette?" She got mad, didn't tweet back. She put it in my Twitter inbox and said, "Don't be clogging up my Twitter account." Email me at my website. I said, "What? You're the one putting out your Twitter into the international public arena." You know what I'm saying? People, everybody on earth needs to tweet you at the same time and clog up your whole system so that it crashes and not come back. Anyway, such questions are particularly timely because nearly all the IFIs have sought or will soon see major new fusions of money from their donors, including the taxpayers of the United States Congress. The United States. Congress will have to approve the amount and the form of these new contributions. Such questions are particularly timely because nearly all the IFIs have sought or will soon seek major new infusions of money from their donors. See that? So that's what I'm saying about whenever we come into power by accepting our inheritance. We have to nationalize ourselves, organize ourselves, have a government in place, have elections, and elect a leader, and submit the proposal to these dummies that are trying to steal it, the humanists, the humanist atheists. Okay, So we send it to them, and then since the words are on the paper, they're gonna accept it as being absolutely true, and they will not turn it down. They just don't do stuff like that. Whatever you say, they do, because the Father ordains it that way, and we're the we're the correct people. We're the true rulers of the earth, and that was even leaked out in Egypt. The ambassador of Egypt, some white lady was drunk talking to some guy and told him that I mean, she only had one reference, which was the African Americans in America are the true leaders of the earth. She told him that, and I mean, people that Israelites already know that. So it's up to you Moors to realize that, and you Muslims to recognize that. It's up to you Buddhists and whatever else, and you Christians. You need to realize that as well. That you rule everything, and you kind of know this within your own paradigm, but you're not accepting the reality that the Moors were in the British Army fighting to get us doggone kidnapped for slavery. You talking? I mean, you want to be a Moor? You talking completely insane, completely insanity. You are against every Israelite on earth by saying that. But I mean, people kind of realize that you're slow, and they know you're an Israelite, so they don't bang on you real tough. You know what I'm saying? You just ignorant. So they don't get too upset, because once you see us in power, then you're gonna change your name. You're gonna change your name real fast. You know what I'm saying? Because every KFC we see is gonna get blown off the top of their head, including the top of their head with it. All right. Congress must be able to assure taxpayers that the money is needed and that it will be used efficiently. It must ask whether the new money is being requested primarily to respond to the financial crisis, and if so, whether it should be advanced on a temporary basis. See, this is what I was talking about yesterday, that whenever we accept our inheritance through the proper order of becoming a nation, putting our laws in place, putting the constitution in place, having elections, selecting a leader, and then have the proposal written for our housing development and all the other programs of a country, and submitting it properly through the proper channels that the Father has ordained for us to submit it through, then when they give us our money, then they're going to have to come to us for their programs to build their countries. So each of their countries is going to have an Israelite ruler. So our rulers over their countries are going to come to us with the plan to develop their country more wisely than the dummies who've already who do what they do. You see, so they're pretty stupid. So that's how that works, and then we're gonna accept their proposals, and I mean 9 times out of 10, we're gonna triple the monies that they think they need in order to make their countries prosperous and successful, so that they won't be hungry and then ask us for food and then get mad when we don't give them any food because they're dumb. They don't worship our God. They don't follow our laws and commandments. So the people that don't come up every year to the temple to worship for Passover and the other 2 yearly times that you're supposed to present yourself, if they don't come up there, they're gonna be blown off the map. Well, you know what I'm saying? If a whole lot of their country comes, then I guess we're gonna have to do individual arrests. So in any case, you better, that's what's gonna happen. This is how it looks. So I can visualize our inheritance, is my point, because it's based on our work ethic. We have to put the work in to claim our inheritance. You have to change your mentality by filling yourself with the Holy Spirit, which is the law. You see, that changes your behavior. Then everyone notices, and you can govern your home properly. You can govern yourself properly. You're self-governing. And then that collective of millions of self-governing people is a country. We're already a family, realizing that we're all Israelites. But you have to be that's why the Bible doesn't refer to us as a family all the time. They refer to us as a nation because our family governs itself through law. That's called a nation. So we're everywhere in the world. All right. Now, so I looked up bank yesterday, legal definition of bank. And in order for us to receive the inheritance properly, we're going to need a bank, our own bank, Israelite bank. Okay. For purposes of sections 582 and 584, the term bank means a bank or trust company incorporated and doing business under the laws of the United States, including laws relating to the District of Columbia or of any state. And we're going to have our own state. So we fall under or any state. A substantial part of the business of which consists of receiving deposits and making loans and discounts, or of exercising fiduciary powers similar to those permitted to national banks under authority of the comptroller of the currency, and which is subject by law to supervision and examination by state, territorial, or federal authority having supervision over banking institutions. Such term also means, this is where they try to throw in them one-liners of what it actually means, and that has been the actual meaning has been expounded upon in order to limit people from starting a bank and kind of reaching their hand further into that system. So such term also means a domestic building and loan association. As simple as that. They ain't had to say all that, but they did because it had been further defined, as time went along. They broke it down further in order for you to say, well, I'm going to do this in the United States as a United States citizen. When in actuality, you're going to be a citizen of New Jerusalem. That's what's coming to the earth, New Jerusalem. You're going to be a citizen of New Jerusalem. And where you find all the new states at? New York, New Jersey. Where you find all the new states at in the United States. That's where the new is. Okay. So now, I just want you to see that we're going to need a bank, which means all we need is a building, which could be a warehouse or some type of secret location where we store our inheritance. Okay. And of course, it's going to have to be heavily guarded like Fort Knox. And we're going to have the money to make it so. So it's not going to be a shack in the woods. It's going to be, like a Fort Knox situation. Okay, I hope you see that clearly. All right, now The crisis should not be used as an excuse to win increases that could not otherwise be justified. As the requests for capital are negotiated with the international donor community, there is a window of opportunity for significant reform. Given a 2009 signing statement from the administration indicating that the president did not recognize an obligation to pursue congressionally mandated reforms at the IMF contained in authorizing legislation, Congress may have an interest in securing reforms before authorizing funds for the capital increases. See how this group of monkeys has this type of power? Let me show you what a Congress is. Mm. I guarantee you, 95% of Congress people believe in evolution. A group of monkeys may be commonly referred to. They just changed the definition 2 days ago. How that happen? A group of monkeys may be commonly referred to as a tribe or a troop. Oh, baboons. A group of monkeys is a tribe or a troop. Okay. Change met things that when baboons congregate. Okay. Baboon Congress. Okay. A troop of baboons. Using the word Congress casts unfair aspersions on baboons. A group of baboons is not a Congress. What? Congress definition. Oh, man. Congress usually refers to the national legislative body of a country. However, Congress is the term also used for a group of baboons. Urban Dictionary. Oh. Congress. What's the proper collective? Answer is a Congress. Group of baboons. Collective term for group of baboons. Showing me the exact same thing. I'm glad I looked that up because that's not true. And I don't deal with some stuff that's not true. A group of ants is called an army. A group of apes is called a shrewdness. A group of baboons is called a troop. A group of badgers is called a seat. I did this back in the day when this first came to light to my attention, and it said Congress all over the place. Student who said there are several words used for a group of baboons, including Congress. Okay, well, I'm gonna refrain from doing that then. So this group of dummies, I know they dumb, so I can say that Congress, this group of dummies, may have an interest in securing the reforms before authorizing funds for the capital increases. Soon after he became chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee in 2003, Senator Richard Lugar launched a multifaceted project designed to answer many of the questions cited above. Under his chairmanship, the CFRC held 6 hearings into the operations of the World Bank and the other multilateral development banks. His staff conducted numerous oversight trips to the various banks' headquarters and to bank-funded projects, and Senator Lugar met personally with the head of the MDB, which is a multilateral development bank. The committee produced a major piece of legislation, which was enacted into law in 2005. The oversight activity continued as Senator Lugar assumed the role of ranking member of the committee and as staff continued to make site visits, hold briefings with IFI personnel and others, attend MDB annual meetings, and conduct inquiries regarding various IFI issues. This project initially focused on the IFI's efforts to battle corruption, has expanded to include other issues of institutional management, personnel, and aid effectiveness. During the period of the project, improvement occurred in certain areas that have come under intense staff scrutiny or congressional mandate. But most IFI operations and thinking continue to be characterized by inertia and a reluctance to reform. In particular, the regional MDBs look to the World Bank to set the standard of practice, failing to move if the World Bank does not, even though significant problems may be evident. And even once the World Bank does change, the regional MDBs are often slow, in some cases extremely slow, to adopt corresponding policies of their own. Yeah, because they're already corrupt. That's what you hear all the time is corruption, corruption, corruption. That's the word you hear. That word simply means that there are racists in place blocking funds to blocking funds from a certain group of people, and it's 9 times out of 10 it's always Israelites, just like the war that Tutsi and what's the other guy, the Tutsi war. I think it was called Rwanda or something. The Tutsi and Hutu. The Tutsi are Israelites, so them being ignorant Israelites who did not arm themselves as the Bible mandates and tells you, you better arm yourself. You better get prepared, prepare slaughter for these people. You never do it. So since you never do it, they just come in and do whatever they want to you and kill you all. That's just what they do. So the persecution of what what I'm saying, of the saints that the modern day dummies call Christians. I mean, they're talking about Israelites. You know what I'm saying? That their persecution has been going on for a very long time. One of the key recommendations of the report is that the IFIs work much more closely together to share experience and information and to collaborate on policies. In general, staff found that the IFIs still serve U.S. policy interests and leverage American taxpayer dollars. Therefore, the U.S. should retain a leadership role in the institutions. However, in the current fiscal environment, the institutions themselves and the Obama administration will have to make a strong and compelling case if further U.S. tax dollars from an already overstretched federal budget ought to be made available. See, their budget is stretched because, you know what I'm saying, they don't know how to do things. They don't know how to get the money into the hands of the innovators. Israelites innovate everything. We're the best of everything. So we are creators. You know what I'm saying? Given that talent by
that talent and those talents, we have multiple talents that was given to us based on our measure of faith in the Father, in the Heavenly Father. So, you know what I'm saying? That's how that works. So now, by them marginalizing us, the United States has fallen behind in everything. They fall behind in science, math, uh, you know, everything else because you're not getting the money to us, the innovators, who know how to uh, create things. See how that goes? So whenever we create a basic idea in our head and present it through the processes that's in place, the gatekeepers, the racist gatekeepers, then the SBA and the business people who are there to help you write a business plan and stuff like that take your idea and then they market it all over the world, including the United States. They just repackage it just a tiny bit and then make millions of dollars off your idea. When in fact, uh, your idea would evolve into something better, but since they uh, are so money hungry, they're going to take your idea right away and make it happen, and not and make sure they cut you out the deal and you don't know nothing about it. That's just how they do. But see, like say for example, you all these new inventions you see happening in Kenya and Nigeria and stuff like that who are Israelites, right? Those people are Israelites. Okay, they be coming up with all types of weird inventions and stuff, you know what I'm saying? That's amazing and stuff like that. Like somebody did some type of fuel with urine that can run their household electricity for 24 hours off of 1 liter of urine and all kinds of stuff. So uh, that's the basic thing that they invented. But if you foster that idea to uh, now you're taking the waste management that happens in every city on earth, right? Every developed city that has a waste management uh, facility, okay? And then you urinate and then flush it down the commode, and then it goes to the waste management facility. Whatever that little girl, she was about 10, 11 years old, 12 years old or something, and invented a system that uh, that you utilize their urine to cause power and a lamp to run for 24 hours off 1 liter of urine. So if that's the case, then all you got to do is take the urine that goes to every waste management facility in every single city in any developed country and apply her genius to that system so that the urine can be utilized to create power. But what do you want to do? You want to put a meter on everybody's houses and smart meters that causes cancer on everybody's house and charge people $200 a month, sometimes $500 a month if you just feel happy and just want to flip the let me beat this person switch because they don't pay attention to their bill. So let me just jack their bill up to $500 this month for no reason. This is what we're dealing with. People like that. And power is everywhere. It's just like Back to the Future when they finally got smart in Back to the Future, they were using trash and soda and banana peels and anything to power their vehicle. Come on, man, you're talking crazy. I done seen it happen many times. I study power systems and stuff like that. I done read Tesla's book 6 times. You know what I'm saying? I done looked at Tesla's patents and tried to figure out what was his thought process and how he made these things possible. You know what I'm saying? But my brain can't think that advanced. So but little girls in Kenya can. So That's why we need to foster all this brilliance that only belongs to the Israelites because we're the creators. Talking about, man. Okay. Okay, now. Therefore, the U.S. should retain a leadership role in the institutions. However, in the current fiscal environment, the institutions themselves and the Obama administration will have to make a strong and compelling case if further U.S. tax dollars from an already overstretched federal budget are to be made available. See why their budget is stretched based on those stories I just told you. They don't allow their economy to flourish. They don't want it to flourish because I guarantee you, just like I reported many people in the financial lending practices and the you know what I'm saying, the SBA and stuff like that. I never reported the SBA because normal people don't have an opportunity to win a lawsuit against it, a federal situation. You won't win. So I ain't no use of reporting them, but like, you know what I'm saying, like normal people who make micro loans and stuff like that, you report them, they just laugh. But at the same time, it's still possible to get results. I just didn't know how to report. So now that I know how to report, you have to report to people in these power seats that we're talking about here. So when you make the people in a power seat aware of something, they will help you individually. They will call that company that turned you down for a car loan or turned you down for a payday loan or turned you down for any type of loan, and they will send their goons in there and threaten them and make it happen for you because you were astute enough to give them the authority to handle their house, their satanic house. You need to deal with this. I'm God. Deal with it, or you're gonna have to pay the consequences to me. I'm God. So once you tell them that, then they go to their satanic little chump change loan company in your city, and they tell them do what God says or else, and then they do what God says. That's how that works. Any new capital increase should be approved only after the relevant institution has formally agreed to a reform agenda and begun to implement it. The Obama administration should conduct an authoritative review of the IFI's practices and policies leading up to the financial crisis to learn what, if anything, they could have done to prevent it. Steps should be taken to integrate lessons learned into future IMF and Development Bank activities. In normal times, the World Bank and the regional banks focus on long-term development and not, for instance, on disaster relief and short-term events and other short-term events. The review should examine whether the MDBs need or should have new authorities to deal with financial crises. Further, to garner public support, the Treasury Secretary should consult closely with Congress as talks on new funding proceed. And he should strive to ensure that any funding required for the crisis should be temporary in nature, while the institutions themselves should conduct a rigorous review to find cost savings in their own operations. The institutions should commit to rigorous budgetary discipline to make sure that as many resources as possible are being used to fight poverty and maintain financial stability. The IFIs will only succeed if they are seen as part of the solution to the crisis, not part of the problem. Regarding the politically fraught issues of governance, voting rights, and citizenship directives, U.S. Voting shares and veto authority should be maintained, and that having an American as head of the World Bank helps maintain domestic public support for the institution. See that? There's an American over the top of the oppressive World Bank reach, who does not reach their goals. They're in default of alleviating poverty, which is a very simple thing to do when all they have to do is give Israel our money, and then the poverty there is no more poverty once that happens. See, that's what I'm saying. These people are so greedy and so hateful that they will destroy themselves in order to prevent what they think is preventing us from our destiny. Their imagination has failed them. They're in default, and they're going to pay. Regarding, okay, now here. So yeah, they just hire an American over the World Bank so that it can stay popular. Now, any changes to these arrangements should be considered on a whole system-wide basis, including the IMF, the World Bank, and the regional MDEs. Staff does not underestimate the difficulty in achieving such changes. Throughout the course of this project, staff has repeatedly encountered evidence that U.S. citizens are discouraged from working at the regional MDEs because of U.S. tax law burdens, which nationals of other countries do not face, because the presence of U.S. citizens materially improves the performance and accountability of the institutions. Staff recommends that Congress fix the tax disincentives that penalize Americans working abroad. Okay, so of course, with their intellect, they knew that those tax disincentives being in place would deter Americans from working abroad in those locations in order to uh, reach their goals. Because Americans are slightly, since they're much, I mean, every country, the normal populace of the people are ignorant. So since they're ignorant, they feel a need to serve and to help and to be an asset to the people in those particular countries that they're going to serve in those particular MD multilateral banks, right? For that country. Okay, so they put this in place purposely to make sure that a kind-hearted person doesn't go there and screw things up for the megalomaniac hoarders by empowering the people in the area. If the people get empowered, then the megalomaniacs are unhappy, even though they're making more money in the process. They want to see suffering everywhere. That's just their goal. Their mind frame is just they enjoy it. Also, it's a part of some of their religions. The I mean the entire Satanic religion is that way. The Jewish or the Babylonian religion is that way with the Babylonian Talmud and other things. Okay, working abroad. So I'm gonna bookmark this here since nobody ever likes to talk about these things. Let's see, we're on page 10. I gotta write this down because I can't. Looking for how. I'm trying to put a note here. Save page as. Okay. Page 10. And we're at the end of the first paragraph. We're on the second paragraph. Okay, so you guys meet up here for this show tomorrow. Become a part of the conversation. Get on the panel and give us your thoughts about all of this. All right. This is Nazir Devar, Emil Oz, Yasharal, the Prince of Israel, Keyboard Warrior signing off.